Somebody asked me on the comments, hey, why is that a hidden setting? Where did you get that information? Is that safe to use? It is safe. I got the information by watching a YouTube a YouTube video from HDTV Test. He was showing that menu, but he was talking about something else. He was talking about BT 2020 and how wrong that is in terms of accuracy. So then I did my research. How do I access that menu? Because he didn't explain how to access the menu. So on this menu, that option, it is on auto, and what that is supposed to do is detect some streaming services that have that feature, and it's basically telling the TV, hey, just set up this HLG HDR, and that's gonna work. So it is not, there's nothing dangerous about setting this setting up. Like, it is, in terms of, and it is understandable that you would think, oh, why is that so amazing? Why is LG not allowing you to use that setting? Because the intention of this EOTF set to auto is that the TV is going to detect the streaming service or the program that is supporting that. But basically, the whole point of this HLG HDR is for streaming services to be able to record on SDR, so they don't need to record on HDR, and the TV is able to convert an SDR signal to HDR. That's it. There's nothing. So this setting is not pushing the panel beyond the limits, not at all. The risk involved on using this setting is the same risk you are when you use just HDR, which is a higher risk for sure. Maxing out the brightness and all of that is a higher risk of burning, and you are using the panel to its full potential. But if you spend $1,000 or more on a TV, you better use that to its full potential, or you're just wasting your money, basically. So there's no risk whatsoever. I can tell you that 100% for sure. I would even say there's less risk of using this than using, for example, Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision is going to push the panel to its limit, completely to its limit. HDR10 is also going to be more demanding because the highlights are gonna be higher than with this setting. No, so far, not on my experience with this setting, I'm getting 7, 8, and almost 800 nits highlights based on my measurements on my cell phone. So that's it. That's your short answer. No risk whatsoever. You're not gonna break the TV by using this. This is a hidden setting because the intention of this setting is to work automatically with those specific streaming services, and it is something that is just being overlooked because you can get HDR working on SDR games, for example, just by turning on HDR on Windows, but that's gonna do a terrible job in terms of gamma tracking. This is doing a much better job. So for example, here, look at this at night. Do you see a super bright image? No, this is low luminance. It's perfectly low luminance. Actually, if I change this to SDR, let's compare and see if I'm still getting a higher luminance than with HDR. And I hear what you're saying about the short videos. I know that short videos can reach out to more people, but I'm just trying to, explain everything. So people sometimes they're just gonna watch the video the first 2 or 3 minutes. So I want to explain more than that. So yeah. So for example, let's turn this to auto. Let's see a low luminance example. It still have highlights. Also on auto is just the SDR settings which are not maxed out. Yeah, but basically this is HDR. It is brighter. This is HDR HGIG. It is brighter, but I can tell you for sure this is not going to damage the TV. This is not hidden because This is not even on the service menu. This is not like, for example, there's a setting on the service menu that is called HDR something, I forgot, and it's by default is on normal. If you change that setting to other than normal, you are going to get brighter SDR, and that is pushing the panels, the panels limits. Because for example, the Sony TVs, they are coming with that setting change, but they have an undefeatable ABL, and it's basically darkening the when they detect logos like this and this. So yeah, I can tell you for sure, zero problem. It's not that I invented that, but it's a setting that was there all the time, but I did discover the usefulness of that setting. That's it. No, I've never seen anybody talking about how useful or how awesome that setting is, and that's it. That was my apportation. I discovered that, I play with it, then I learn what it is, and I know, and I can tell you for sure, there's no risk involved on using that whatsoever. Not at all. And this can be even brighter. So if I turn on dynamic tone mapping, for example, it's gonna be even brighter. So what I do, this is with HGIG. So if I turn on dynamic tone mapping, it's too bright for me. And what I do, I use this with dynamic tone mapping on. So you see how much brighter that is. What I do is I turn on a black frame insertion. So I do this. Well, it ends, the game ended. So that's it. When I turn on this dynamic tone mapping, see, it's a lot brighter. I use black frame insertion, it works perfect. And black frame insertion, by the way, if you're concerned about taking care of the TV, a black frame insertion is supposed to mitigate burning, because basically the pixels are like being turned on and off super fast. So yes, but if you compare black frame insertion on, so basically black frame insertion would be better for the TV, given the same luminance level. Okay, so let's say everything at 100% plus black frame insertion versus everything at 100% without black frame insertion. Black frame insertion is gonna protect the TV better. Okay, if I have so much noise, people are, yeah, so that's gonna be better. But better than black frame insertion with everything at 100% is going to be, of course, just lowering OLED light, lowering brightness, lowering all of that. But there's no risk whatsoever in doing that. I mean, you don't pay $1,000 to then worry about, and then let's lower OLED brightness to 33% to make sure that the TV lasts for 20 years. No. If you want to do that, go ahead. I'm not doing that. I'm using the TV to its full potential, and I can tell you for sure, after learning what that is, I can tell you there's no additional risk. The same risk as using HDR, I would say.